back in episode number 10 of Unknown to Known on the Learn and Grow with Atulji. Hope you are doing good and well and definitely enjoying Saturday with your family, your friends as well. I know it's Saturday, it's at least not a bright day for me. It's very little windy, little cold for me at point of time. Its temperature is 1 or 2 degree for me. If you are be any other part of country, any other part of world, and hope you have a good day, definitely go and enjoy the day with you. But now we are here to start with our next episode with Kapil. I'll not provide any kind of information. I did not provide any kind of introduction or anything detail about Kapil. I will give chance to the Kapil, but as per the tradition, we need to be start the things with our main part that we can say that let's start the discussion with say thank you to God, pray to God, give us the power, give us the strength so that what we want to communicate, which Kapil want to communicate, which I want to be communicate with you, or which you want to be learn from this session should go as it is, what you are expecting. The word should be good, the thought should be good. So let's take a 10-second pause, Kapil, here, and then I'll start this discussion formally with you to go to you to make it you known from the unknown very soon on that particular part. Okay. Okay, so Kapil, once again, welcome back. Just one update for everybody. Maybe if you hear some kind of a background noise from Kapil's side, don't worry. He's not doing any work. His adjacent apartment is doing some drill work there, so maybe some background will be there. So let's bear it. But I don't want to lose experience to talk to Kapil here. So Kapil, how are you doing?
Very good, Atul. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with your podcast members.
Thank you. So it's your first podcast, right?
That's right. That's definitely right.
Okay, I'll go with the introduction, but I want to be know that how you're feeling from host to guest.
Good one, Atul. So, as you know, I work in ServiceNow and we host quite a few events for
Right.
partners, for customers, all that kind of good stuff. Like we were talking earlier, it's more like flipping to the other side. But I've done it in the past. I've been on the partner side, come to ServiceNow. So flipping roles is not
Mhm.
new to me. But this is definitely something that's been of interest to me, if you will. Right? I've never thought that I would do it, but somewhere back of the mind, it's like a feeling that I need to be doing this. So definitely, this is a great opportunity, the first of its kind that I'm doing.
Okay.
But hopefully, I learn from this and then probably someday turn into a host like you.
Sure, Kapil. Definitely, definitely. And someone said that it is the day to start a something new. So maybe it is a day for you to be start something new, being a host. Sorry, being a guest from the host now. Okay. So you're not nervous? Anything in your mind that I'm little nervous, what to speak, what
No,
Atul can be asked? Oh, that's
no,
nice.
yeah, I'm not nervous. So you might throw something at me. The worst that will happen is I'll probably take a minute or a second to
No
gather my
problem.
thoughts together. But I'm not nervous.
That's fine, Kapil. That's fine. Okay, so we have people with us on the live session as well now. So Kapil, over to you. I would like to be start from you as a Kapil and how you started your journey. I want to be listen about your background. I when I say background means your qualification background because I saw there's a lot of people who came in my on my podcast as a guest. They started as a some different domain, not from the computer science. Even though I'm not a computer science background, I done my BCom and done my MCA, so it's a very deadly combination for me as of now. So I want to be here from your side that which background you came, and I know that you are almost 20 plus experience in the industry now. Definitely, you have a lot of things in your mind, a lot of experience in your career. So I want to be here about that. So over to you. Try to explain a little bit more so that people are also interested to be listen about you and reach
Yeah,
out to you as well
absolutely,
individually on that particular part. Over to you now,
absolutely.
Kapil.
Thank you so much. So I grew up in a town called Dharwad. This is North Karnataka. I'm a Malayali. I'm a Malayali who grew up essentially in Dharwad. I studied in Kendra Vidyalaya between 1984 and 1994, and obviously one of the best places to grow. Studied till engineering out there, and immediately after engineering, I took up my first job at TCS. Now, there's an interesting part, like you said about how did you start and all of that. So as a kid, we're talking the early 90s. If you look at it, everybody used to watch Doordarshan. There's series like Fauji and all going. At one
Right.
point of time, that was an ambition to join NDA or something like that. I was very young, obviously. And
Mhm.
then we had a family event, and I went and met somebody who was almost my age, but he was aspiring to be an engineer. Now
Mhm.
probably that's when that thread of, let's look at what engineering is all about started. About a few months after that, my cousin started his engineering in SDM College, Harvard.
Mhm.
And for the next 4 years, I saw him, and that kind of inspired me to take the engineering route, right?
Okay.
So that's how the seed of engineering or all of that started. Obviously, I have an elder brother who's also done engineering. So once you see your cousins, your brother doing that, it just reaffirms that maybe you want to take that route.
Right.
Cut to chase 2000, I think. Out of college, so I'm not a campus hire, by the way. I didn't make it through campus because there was a benchmark in terms of the percentage, and I didn't meet that.
Mhm.
But very interestingly, this was the 2000 2001 time frame when there was a sort of a recession in the industry.
Correct.
Now, at that point in time, my dad asked me to, probably learn something and, then try to apply for a job. So we identified a course in Bangalore. It was called IBM ACE at that point in time. I enrolled for it. Month one was great. We learned quite a bit. And for the
Mhm.
heck of it, I went to ITPL campus and applied for a opening in TCS.
Okay.
Now, as things would happen, I got selected. This was the
Wow.
first time I, anyway, attended an interview or whatever it is.
Okay.
And they have a psychometric test. So as I was
Mhm.
filling the psychometric test, they were asking people to leave. There were about 10 people there.
Mhm.
And then they said, you guys can stop. You all have been, selected for the next round or whatever that was.
Wow.
So that's how basically I got into TCS. And TCS, for people who are getting into software, at least way back then, I'm talking 2000,
Mhm.
TCS is a nice way to get entry into the IT world. The reason being, they had all that good training facility in Trivandrum. Your induction
Mhm.
training happened really nice and all of it. And this was the first time I was actually staying outside of family. So I made
Oh.
friends, and then from there, my first job, the first placement that I got in terms of, so they have a MATC unit that actually allocates people to projects and all of it. I got
Okay.
allocated to a GE healthcare account, and this was based in almost all GE accounts at that point of time were based in Seeps Andheri in Mumbai. So
Okay.
that's how I took it. I went there, and my career essentially started with mainframes.
Mhm.
So I was there, and my parents were still actually. My dad was still working in Dharwad, so Mumbai and Dharwad are about about 10 hours, 12 hours journey. So
Right.
it really worked out well. Couple of years later, my dad retired, and they relocated to Kerala. So I wanted to be a little more closer than Dharwad. Like
Mm.
Mumbai
Okay.
to Kerala is about two
2 nights
yeah, it's about
approximately.
yeah, about a night and a half or something like that. So I think the
Right.
best option that time was to go to Bangalore.
Okay.
And IBM was actually looking for folks. So I applied for an interview in IBM, and I got through. The
Mhm.
journey in IBM was a very long one. I was with IBM for about 13 years, variety of different projects, variety of different roles. So fundamentally, if you look at it, while I did mainframe kind of work in TCS, one thing that has always been constant with me is I'm very curious to do different things. So way back those days, we used to have the ability to do screen scraping using VB scripting. So
Okay.
while my job was actually mainframes, I used to do macros and VB scripting and all just to
Mhm.
pick up data from the mainframe screen. Not things that are part of the project. You do this as an initiative of your own, right?
Right.
That tendency to do whatever you want to do, kind of a thing. So that carried on, and I think that is something that I continue to do. I like to be innovative. In
Mhm.
IBM, obviously, a lot of options to do a lot of those kind of work. My first role in IBM was more of a business analyst. So if you
Oh.
look at my current work, where I do solution consulting, I think if I had to reflect back, the initiation, if you will, is
Mhm.
that business analyst kind of a role, because at the if you look at it, a business analyst role gives you the ability not only to look at the problem, it also gives you that ability to talk to customers, talk to
Right.
different stakeholders, and all that kind of thing. So somewhere, I think i- if I am successful now as a solution consulting leader,
Hmm.
I think that that ability to start at looking at from a business analyst lens has been helpful. So started with the business analyst role,
Hmm.
then had a few onshore engagements as coordinator, as project manager, and
Right.
all that good stuff. 2014 was the year, actually 2013 end. So if
Hmm.
you look at it, it's almost been 10 years since I've been
Industry now,
in
right?
yeah in the ServiceNow area, right? So in 2013, towards the end of 2013, I had come back from a US assignment, having been in the US for about a couple of years, leading
Okay.
some middleware projects and all of it.
Hmm.
So there was an opening in IBM for a large focus account. We had American Express as our client, and we had
Okay.
a portfolio management role for a ServiceNow portfolio.
Oh.
That's when I actually got into it in 2014. Continued with IBM on that portfolio till 2016.
Hmm.
At that point in time, I also enrolled myself into BITS Pilani's MBA. It was like a work integrated
Right. Right.
MBA.
Right. Right.
I finished that, and then I was like, hey, now's the time to probably look at ServiceNow as a choice of platform, if you will,
Hmm.
right? And Cognizant was a reasonably good ServiceNow practice at that point in time. They had a reasonably good ServiceNow practice at that point in time. So I
Right.
said, let's move to Cognizant. Um, I was with Cognizant for about 4 years, a couple of different roles, but the last role that I did there was, leading a bunch of solution consultants. I was
Hmm.
leading the pre-sale solution consulting part, working with my team to win deals, all that kind of good stuff. And as part of that particular role, I used to interact very closely with people in ServiceNow here in the Bangalore office,
Okay.
and that opened me the door for getting into ServiceNow. So I
Service now
saw
is.
I saw a ServiceNow opening in a solution consulting role.
Hmm.
Now, bear in mind, I was actually an associate director in Cognizant, and I had a
Hmm.
team of my own. But when I looked at the role opening that was out there, it was an individual contributor role. So I actually
Okay.
took uh, I won't say it's a step down. It's how you look at life, right? I wanted
Correct.
more into service now. I picked up that particular role, and about a year into that role, my leader said, "Do you want to take a different kind of a role as a lead a team of solution consultant?" Since I'd done that kind of stuff in the past, I said, "Why not?" And that's fundamentally the journey, if you will, right, across different things. But I think there are a couple of takeaways that I'd like to let the
Hmm.
audience know. So number one, in this entire career journey, the way I elaborated it, you will think that is all very well planned, and one thing happened and the other thing happened and the third thing
Correct.
happened. That's absolutely not the case.
Oh.
So what essentially happens is, I think, two or three things. One,
Hmm.
you need to have a good network. So a
Right.
lot of the roles that I got were through my network. So I knew somebody, and they knew my abilities, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to try this out?" So that
Right.
is one thing. That's the network piece of it. Second thing is that typically every 2.5 years I've changed roles. This is
Okay.
not like somebody asking you to change a role. You actually get stagnated, and then you ask for that, hey, I want to do something different. So that's been a constant. Every 2-3 years I have actually changed, and not necessarily that the change is always very easy, right? It sometimes getting into a role that you've never done before, it will be really
Correct.
difficult. But that's the second theme. The third theme, I think, is there is this concept of emergent and deliberate strategy. Emergent means that you don't decide it; something comes by itself. For example, getting
Right.
into service now. Like I
Hmm.
said, 2013, when I got that opportunity to join that service now portfolio,
Hmm.
there wasn't much of a background that I knew about ServiceNow. I didn't know
Service.
that it was this kind of a platform, and nobody knew it would grow to what it is right now. Right now, when you
Right.
look at it, it's an enterprise platform, great stuff. But way back 2013, if you look at it, it's still ticketing. That was what it was doing, and all of
Right.
it. So I just took it. That's what I said. That role emerged. I took it. But the move to Cognizant, if you ask me, that was a very deliberate move. I knew that I wanted to be in the ServiceNow practice, so
Correct.
deliberately I did that.
Pick
So
up that,
that,
right?
yeah, so that's that theme about emergent and deliberate strategies. They will play in your life. You can't be
Mhm.
always deliberate, and you can't
Yes.
always bet on emergent things, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's the journey so far. I think, like I said, one, picking out things that you want to try. Second, the network that's always going to help you. Like I said, I
Right.
landed the job in ServiceNow through somebody I knew at ServiceNow. So
Right.
that
Right.
network
Right.
definitely helped. And then the third thing, like I said, emergent and deliberate. Those are things that happen. Sometimes you deliberately take a decision because that makes that's something that you want to do,
Mhm.
and you're aided by certain thinking models, right? Yeah, this might work because this is this,
True.
whatever that model is. But it's also that things can emerge. You don't necessarily, like, your the faith that you show when you start the program, you're talking to God about how to do something. You have
Right.
to have that faith that in whichever form that is, right? For me, I'm also very deeply rooted in my belief in my faiths. So sometimes you let
Nice.
things go. It'll take its own. You can't be extremely deliberate about life. It's not going to play the way
Right.
you want.
Right, Kapil. No, that's very true. And few things which I can pick up it from here. Maybe the time you started your education, even I was not born. I was 1984, so there was just a born when you were in your colleges or in your schools time that time. Also, one thing which is important I can understand is that it's not only you want, is destiny also want you to be going that particular
Absolutely.
part. Your hard work is one thing. Maybe there are a lot of people in this session, and maybe after that they will say, hey, I also want to go in the service now, but I'm not getting it. Maybe you are doing hard work, but destiny is not decided to be go on that particular place as of now. And the key point which you say that is always learning is the one important thing. You learn on that perspective. No, I want to be going that, I want to be going that point. And one thing again common between you and me, that you started service now using something, I can say, in the 2013. I started in the 2014, so we are almost near about in that part. But definitely the things or the outcomes for the discussion is that definitely you need to be a good network, and you need to be work on your things which you want to be do, and then destiny will decide everything for you on that particular part. Good, Kapil. And one more thing which you say in the last, that it is very important to be have a faith and or believe in your own values and your on faith. Mainly I can say that either your destiny, it's your God, it's your prayer, it's your parents, who's there, you have to be put a faith on that, so that they will decide very best for you on that particular part. Good to know, Kapil. One more thing which you pick up in that part, that you say that I want to be go in the NDA as well. It may be some initial thought, but do you think that it is a good decision you did not go in the NDA, or you think that I should give a try at least, or you did not give a try as well?
It's a good question. If you ask it from a regret standpoint, no regrets. So
Okay.
the way I look at it, uh, I am extremely happy where I am right now, learning a lot of different things.
Mm,
At the end of the day, both of them are probably roles, right? And what so I want to refer to a book. The book is How Will You Measure Life? It's by an author called Clayton Christensen.
mm,
He's a Harvard business school professor. He's no more, but this book is extremely popular. He's also written another book called The Innovator's Dilemma. So,
okay.
in this, how do you measure life? He talks about a lot of different things. In fact, he talks about emergent strategy, deliberate strategy, all that good stuff that's out there. There are different
Right.
ways you can look at metrics for life. Right? His last chapter actually calls the key metric to life is how you impact people, other people's life.
Mm,
So, if you use that as your metric, you could probably impact people's life as an NDA person or a soldier or whatever it is. You could impact a life as what I'm doing right now. If you look
right.
at uh, the kind of work that I do, probably you're talking to a lot of youngsters or whatever it is. You're probably shaping their career in some sort of a manner. So, I think regardless of which profession you take,
Mhm.
if your key metric is impact and that's what you want to look at, then 100% I think it doesn't matter what you do. You just have to make sure that you're impacting people positively. I think that's how I look at it.
Very, very true on that part, Kapil. And I guess this is what the reason that we have a service now community on the place where people are coming forward. It's not only me, but there are a lot of people. If you see on the LinkedIn, on the YouTube, on the community as well, people are coming, sharing their knowledge, creating the blogs, videos, podcast. Everybody is coming together so that they want to make an impact. That if you want to learn, We are here to help you. We are here to grow you, so that let's put together everything and grow together on that part. Good. Okay, so now when you say impact, who is the person who has a lot of impact on your life in this career? Is your parents, your wife, your kids, your manager?
So
Who's
I
that
wouldn't
one?
say, yeah. So I wouldn't say career per se, but I would say the biggest impact of my life has been my dad.
Hmm.
Um, he's no more. Unfortunately, I lost him 6 years ago, and it was very sudden. It was He did not have any ailment or anything. A month after my son was born, he passed away. So
Oh.
that was one of the biggest losses in my life, if you will. But my dad was a professor. He I think he's taught, I don't know if I calculate it in numbers, maybe tens and thousands of people since 1970 to 2004, 34 years of
Oh
being
my
a
goodness.
professor. I'm sure he has impacted lives of, like I said, a whole lot of students.
Hmm.
I think he's the person who's impacted my life in different ways, and for me, there are specific things that I look up to him in terms of what I've learned, and that probably is still the foundation of everything that I do. So that's how I would say he's impacted my career. But he was an extremely so there are different kinds of parents. There are parents who are like helicopter parents who will say that, hey, you've got to be doing this, you've got to be doing that. Nothing of that sort.
Yes.
He's been extremely free with me for me to take my own decisions. But I think essentially what I'm trying to say, Abdul, is that somewhere he's been a role model, and that role model helps you to have some identified values or whatever you want to call
Correct.
them, right? And that's been there with me. So he was a perfectionist. He was a person who was always trying to do the best. He was a person who, even to the last day of his
Hmm.
uh, journey as a teacher, right, I have seen him prepare for his class.
Oh,
So think about a professor who's like 34 years experience,
still
but he's
preparing
got
for the
12. Yeah,
class.
yeah, preparing for that. That's the second thing. The third thing, extremely curious. So if you look at some of our parents, they are what we call digital migrants. They've not been in a
Right.
place where they were, born in a time when this technology
These
was
situation.
prevalent. So
Correct.
he was extremely, he picked it up really fast. So obviously he was also he's a PhD, he's a research person, so obviously that ability to be curious, the ability to do all of
Right.
that is there. But what I'm essentially saying is that that habit of being prepared, that habit of learning before you do anything, all of that is something that you automatically imbibe. You see them doing it, you
Yes.
learn that, right? And that's been there. Now, like I said, he's never made that decision, hey, you go to do this, or
This thing.
take an
Right.
MBA, do this. But I'm very happy with the results that you bring, right? So that's probably what so if you ask for impact, I think that's the impact.
Nice. Nice. Sure. Sure, Kapil. So how you feel if maybe if his student meet you now, how you feel that he said that, hey, your father was very nice teacher? How you feel? It's like some emotional
Absolutely.
you got it, or you find like, oh my
Absolutely.
God, he
No,
make a good and
absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. Very, very good question. Thanks for bringing that up, right? So, like I said, my dad started his lecturership in 1970.
Hmm.
This was a time, if you look at it, when, India was still awakening at that point in time, right? We were
Correct.
probably, what, 20 years of independence, or maybe less than 30 years of independence. So,
Right.
a lot of people who were his students at that point in time were themselves almost his age.
Hmm.
So when I've grown up also, I've seen people really elder coming and being very, very respectful because of
Right.
him being their teacher, right? And this might not resonate so well with youngsters nowadays, but if you look at the respect teachers were provided, at least if I go back to my times as well,
Hmm.
I think it's enormous. The teaching profession is an extremely noble profession, if you will, right?
Correct.
I think we all know that they teachers deserve the greatest respect and all of it. But like you said, even now there are a lot of people who actually on LinkedIn or social media or something. Oh, you are his son. We didn't know that. That's a great
Yeah.
reaction, right?
Yes.
It's priceless. I don't think you can, like the
Right.
Mastercard ad says, right? Some things you can buy, but
Yes.
this is priceless.
Right, Kapil. Right. Right. Okay. Good. So let's change little track now and coming to a little bit more on your journey part. So as you say that you are specifically working in the partner domain, right? So partner solution consulting you do, right? If I'm
That's right.
on that part. Okay. I want to understand that what exact role it is specifically, and what are the sad moments in that part that you find, oh my god, he's losing because he has a capability, but maybe his luck is not with him or not providing good solution kind of things. So how you take that part? Because you say that you are a
So
people leader as well. You want to push your team. You want to push definitely your partners also your team only that you want to push. Hey, go and do this part. You can do it. So how experience on that particular part?
I will split that question into two parts,
Hmm.
Atul. The first part is about what is a partner solution consulting role, and then
Right.
probably about we'll talk about what sort of challenges do I face when I'm engaging with the partner, right? I think I'll split it into two
Yes.
different parts of that. The first part, again, to answer that, I'll actually take a little bit of a step back.
Hmm.
So fundamentally, what happens is, and why I'm giving this perspective is I'm a person who has been on the SI side, on the GSI side. I worked with TCS, I worked with IBM, I worked with Cognizant before I came into ServiceNow. So I understand the partner world, I understand how they
Right.
operate. And then I came into ServiceNow. So I have that perspective. Now I know the roles that are available in these GSIs, right?
Hmm.
Now, in ServiceNow, we have, I think, four or five different types of solution consulting roles. I'll give a little bit of a snapshot of each one so that the listeners also get a sense of what those roles are, right?
Right.
So, number one, we have what we call field solution consulting.
Okay.
So, field solution consultant is somebody who is working with a customer. So, when you look at ServiceNow itself will have a field account person. That means that a person who is a salesperson who is responsible for one or more customer accounts. So, this is the
Okay.
field salesperson.
Okay.
The salesperson will have a two in a box with a technology person. That person
Hmm.
is the solution consultant.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Let us say I'll take a name just like that, right? Like let's say there is a bank in India.
Hmm.
Now ServiceNow wants to position its products within that bank. So there is going to be a field salesperson who is going to work with that particular bank. He will have the relationship with the bank people. He will have people he knows there and all of it. He will go and identify, hey, what is the problem that bank's business essentially has.
Right.
This person is a salesperson. He does not understand technology very well to map whatever problem statements the bank is talking to the ServiceNow solution. Here he will require somebody who knows ServiceNow really well. That's
Right.
where the solution consultant, the field solution consultant, comes into play. So this is that first role, the field solution consultant, customer facing, has to be really good on the platform, understand how the platform's capabilities will solve for business problems for the customer, right? Now this is one category. The second category, you guys know that ServiceNow is now like a multi-product single platform company. That means on the same platform you're seeing multiple products that are out there.
Right.
So no one single person can be an expert in all products.
True.
So what we've done is we've actually tried to bring in the concept of solution sales and solution sales specialist.
Okay.
So when you look at, let's say, ITSM, then there's a person who's responsible for ITSM. When you look at HR, there's a person in our side who's responsible for HR. So again, the combination is a salesperson and a solution person. The salesperson is going to have the sales conversation. The solution person is going to have the solution consulting conversation.
Consulting discussions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to map the product's capability. Let's take HRSD. So you go to a customer and you want to say, hey, so your employee onboarding journey is not that great, right? So let's help you with that. So the solution consultant will then look at employee journey maps. You look at probably listening
Right.
posts, whatever is relevant from the product standpoint for that particular use case. For example, we have the new product called employee growth and development, right, as part of our
Right.
employee workflow. The consultant might feel that, hey, this is also a good fit for this particular customer. So that's the value of the solutions SC, solution specialist SC. He or
Okay.
she is an adept user, or he or she is very good at that particular
Technology
specialization.
or specialization.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's a second category.
Okay.
Then we have a third category called partner design studio. So we work with partners to build offerings and solutions, if you will, right? This is
Okay.
what you're essentially doing is you're trying to monetize using the ServiceNow platform. You're trying to do something very unique that only you as a partner bring to the table.
Okay. So
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 if
it's
I
like
were
a
to
it's like a custom app creations kind of things.
sort of. So it's not, but
Okay.
don't think of it only at a custom app level.
Hmm.
Think of it
Hmm.
as a capability, a set of capabilities that you've got to. So one good example is, for example, let's look at a learning management system, right?
Hmm.
So learning management system is not an app or a solution that we offer out of the box.
Correct.
But you as a partner might think that, hey, I will configure the platform. I'll create scope apps like you said, using the creative workflows, and actually build a learning management system. Now,
Okay.
this one, when you look at it, this is actually not there on the platform, but you as a partner might think that, hey, this has a lot
Mm.
of
Potential on that.
potential. Exactly. So that is the offering piece of it. Now, for this, what we are
Okay.
doing is at our side, we have a bunch of solution consultants who are essentially helping the partner architect it, right? They want to put the architecture in terms of, hey, this is how it should look like, this is
Right.
the kind of customers it should cater to, all that kind of thing. So that's that partner design studio SC. There's
Mm.
the last category, which is, I mean, I'm making it simple by saying there are four. I'm sure there are more than four
More than
categories
the
of SCs. Yeah,
right.
but you'll at least get a sense. But now coming to the partner solution consulting category, which I'm part of, right? And I have a
Hmm.
team here in India, which is about 5 to 6 people. What we are essentially doing is that every partner, it could be TCS, it could be HCL, it could be Wipro, Infosys. My
Right.
team is actually facing these partners,
Hmm.
and we are what we are essentially doing is that if you look at the partner practice, they need a lot of help in terms of scaling. They need help in terms of understanding what's the latest and greatest. They need
Correct.
to know how they can do better demos, right? So think of us as the people who are working with the partner practice to improve their skills, to improve their go to market capability, to identify opportunities to build products. We are essentially helping the partner to be able to go and help a customer. Let me put it that way. So, in that sense, my team is not customer facing, we are partner facing. So, the partner might be facing a customer and try to do specific GTM motions. Our
Right.
job is to think of us as a coach of your partner resources, if you will. We coach them on ServiceNow's capability. We coach them what is the narrative they need to take to the customer. So it's an evangelist role. It is a pre-sales role, if you will. We don't get into the implementation bits of it. We don't, at least my team doesn't get into the implementation bits of it. We are more of a pre-sales wing, responsible to help your partner grow its practice, help them to bring the business in terms of the GTM motions that they want to do and things like that. So
Right.
that's that first part of the question that you asked in
Question.
terms of
Right.
what does yeah, yeah. Now coming to the second part, what are some of the challenges that we face, right? Now,
Yes.
um, there are a few challenges that I can think of, right? One, this platform essentially is now much larger than the IT workflows, which means
True.
when you look at ITSM, ITOM, these have been products that have been there for a while, right? But there's a whole lot of capabilities that we bring to the fore, right, on the platform. A lot of times, what happens is when you're looking at partners, they think of us as still as that ITSM, ITOM capability
Capabilities,
product,
guys.
right?
Okay. Hmm.
And uh, for us, we have to basically always try to get them to think broader, think larger, and
Yes.
we have to get them to understand the value of the larger platform. But as we do that, the first thing that comes into people's mind is, hey, so service now, I mean, Salesforce also does CRM, right, kind of activity, customer service kind of, how are you different?
Right.
And then they'll say, hey, Workday does this, or hey, this does that. Or so everybody is now thinking of a siloed approach, and we have to dispel that myth that don't look at it as a siloed point solution to point solution, or
Right.
departmental platform to whatever it is, right? So what's the true value of ServiceNow? The true value of ServiceNow, when you look at it, we are platform. You all know that, you've been using it, so you all know that it's a platform.
Yes.
You all also know that it is actually a multi-product platform. But
True.
fundamentally, let's understand why it helps customers, right? So there is this entire concept of a flywheel effect that people
Hmm.
say. So what it means is that, let's say if a customer starts with one product on ServiceNow, and
Hmm.
sees value, he will probably get the second product. Then he
Right.
will probably get the third product, and
Correct.
slowly within time you will see that a flywheel motion has
Yes.
started. So you will get more and more products. And now, what's the true value of all of this, right? So if you look at any product on service now, you all know that glide scripting is the underlying capability that is actually holding this
True.
all together from a code standpoint,
Right.
right? Now, just for a second, think that you're not using ServiceNow and you're using, like, let's say, for
XYZ tool.
yeah, you're using Salesforce for something, you're using something else, you're using a third thing, you're using a fourth thing.
Hmm.
What is the enterprise essentially doing? It is actually asking partners to support that entire architecture
Correct.
with people of different skill sets. So that one person who knows glide scripting can do things on four or five different products. Whereas here, when you look at the other scenario, you need four people because all those four people have different skills. They're not the same skill, right? So that's that advantage that enterprises get when they go onto the ServiceNow platform. Now, this narrative that I told you is not very easily not everybody understands this. You'll have to do a few cycles of explaining it to them, and so that's the biggest challenge for people, for us to make people to realize ServiceNow is a platform, not a point solution.
Not a point
And
solution.
to,
Right.
yeah, and then to get them to understand that the value of it is, as you use more and more products on the platform, your value starts amplifying. You get into
Correct.
that flywheel effect. And I will stop that answer with a piece of statistics, right, which might be useful for the listeners. In 2022,
Hmm.
of our topmost deals, or almost all our deals, if you look at it, 77% of these deals have more than five ServiceNow products.
Oh, wow.
20% of these deals will definitely have more than two to four products. So if you were to look at two and above, that
Right.
entire 77 plus 20, that means 97% of our
87%.
deal, yeah, 97% of our deals is more than two products for sure. So that clearly shows you that the market is adopting us, all our customers are adopting us, and you get to get that sense that, hey, this is a larger platform, right? But
Right.
again, so, there is still so much opportunity that the people really need to understand that we're not that one or two product play. We are a multi-product single platform company.
Correct. 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 No, that's true. And I guess this point bring a lot of stuff for me as well. I was thinking that we just only have a customer solution provider kind of things, but now you open another, I can say, completely road for me that no, it's not only customer. You can go for the partner solutioning consulting as well, where you can guide, you can build your partners. Because if you are building a partner, you're building service now as well. You're building your team as well. You're building your growth as well. Nice. One more point I want to be add here, Kapil, that when you go to the partners and push them, like you put a very good theory over a flywheel, how the design thinking or the critical thinking play a role here, because changing a mind of a partner is very much important. If I say, sorry Kapil, I'm not interested, but you know that Atul has a capability or Atul has a problem at point of time, and if he choose our product, he will make the good situation. So how you bring that changes to the partners?
Very, very, very good question, and I will not limit it to design thinking. I think
Mhm.
I will give you a slightly more elaborate answer to this. So, as we come into service now, most of us who are in the GTM side of the house, right, which means pre-sales and solution consulting and
Right.
sales and all that kind of thing, we undergo what we call a shark camp training. Now, the
Shark
shark
Camp. Okay.
camp, yeah, it's a shark camp training. Essentially, we mimic a customer scenario where, hey, this is the customer, this is the problem, this is whatever it is, and all of that good stuff that's out there. Now, one of the parts that they teach us in that is what we call value selling.
Okay.
Now, value selling essentially means that um, you're not just looking at, hey, ITSM, I will do incident problem change. That's not how you go and look at it, right? What's
Right.
the customer's pain point, and what does ServiceNow actually bring in terms of value to that particular business problem? So if you look at
Right.
any business that you look at it, we're not trying to say ITSM, let's sell ITSM, let's sell ITOM, let's sell this, let's sell that, or whatever it is. The whole intent should be, what outcome can we do for the business? At the end of the day, if you're not able to solve for a business, then technology has no meaning, right? It's
No meaning.
irrelevant.
Right.
So that entire concept of value selling means that what value do you bring to the stakeholder who buys it, right? That is the whole concept that we train our people as they come into these specific kind of roles. Now, value also happens at different levels. So if you were to look at it from a hierarchy, right,
Mhm.
your CEO, your CXO, their expectation of the value that the platform brings is what business outcome is my from a metric standpoint. If you look at it, uh, what's the outcome that ServiceNow is going to bring to me?
Bring
Is
it
it
right.
actually going to, so if you it might be an NPS score, it might be something else, whatever that is, right?
Quality and quantity,
The-
anything can
yeah.
can be there.
So that KPI, when you look at it from a for example, let's take customer service for example, right?
Mhm.
So customer satisfaction is probably one metric. Some other
Right.
metric could be like, how soon does a customer get his queries responded, things
True.
like that, right? Now this at every level this is different. For a CXO, what is measuring is different versus a department leader versus somebody who's on the ground. So
Mhm.
your solution essentially, when you're taking it to the leader,
Mhm.
his outlook is going to be very broad. Now let's go back to the previous narrative that I was telling you, right? Multi-product kind of a thing.
Multi-product,
If,
right.
if I were to go to, let's just say, a IT director, and I
Mhm.
ask him what's his challenge, he's only going to tell me about whatever his IT department is facing as a challenge.
Correct. Not from the
But if
business
I go,
perspective.
is not from the business perspective, absolutely right, spot on. Now let's assume we go to the CXO and
Mhm.
have a conversation. Now he or she is actually going to say that these are my broad business challenges. The moment the broad business challenges are identified, you can identify which all department is actually
Right.
having that
Affected,
challenge,
right.
right? And then when you start looking at it, then you start looking at, how does service now fit in. So this kind of leads to, the discussion that you're having in terms of design thinking, right? Now you see, how does design thinking essentially work? There is a converge diverge cycle that is happening. So
Correct.
first you start divergently thinking, you ask who all is impacted by whatever it is. So
Right.
you're going to get a lot of different kind of answers. So that different kind of answers is spread out. Now you will
Right.
then start looking at the pattern that brings them together. So that's a convergence. When you're looking at patterns, you're looking at that convergence bit of it. Once this is converged, then you again start thinking, and hey, is it only one product that will fit into this,
It is
or
on multiple products.
multiple products? Again, you're starting to diverge. Then
Mhm.
you start again looking. So that entire converge diverge thinking comes into play, right? Now for us this happens both at the sales level, or
Mhm.
also when we are talking about offerings and solutions and things like that, right?
Things
At
like
that point in time as well, we'll have to actually look at it from a very specific design thinking pattern. And we have specific models within our organization. So I think our partner design studio team, which I was referring to earlier, that's also a
like
solution consulting team. They have a particular methodology. At the end of the day, I think it's, design thinking as a concept has its own variants. We have our own
correct.
variant that we use,
True.
but fundamentally, I think that, like I was saying, selling at each level, when I were to look at it, or solution consulting at each level varies. So if you want to become bigger and broader in terms of what you're trying to position, you will have to
Mhm.
go to the buyer at that level.
Correct.
And you might already know this, but just to reinforce that fact, when you look at ServiceNow right now, we cater to the entire C-suite. What I mean by that is,
Yes.
we serve the CIO, we serve the CXO, we serve any kind of CXO, right? It could be CHRO, Chief HR
Right.
Officer, it could be a Chief Customer Officer. In fact, within ServiceNow also we use ServiceNow internally. So all of our CXO groups, whether it's Pat Casey, our CTO, whether it is
Mhm.
Gina, who's our CFO, everybody is using ServiceNow internally for their own departments. So
Departments, right.
goes goes back to what we were discussing earlier, that uh, every department, every leader has their own level of KPI, their own level of metrics that they're looking at. So if you
Right.
want to actually position ServiceNow at the topmost level, that's where you will see the most value, because they really realize that this as a platform is really that enterprise platform that can solve for their enterprise business use cases, rather than a departmental thought process. Not that it doesn't solve for departmental thought process, but then you're only restricting yourself to one or two products, whereas the
True.
platform gives you so much more that you can take at a bigger level.
Right. Nice, nice way. Just one thing, Kapil, do we have any kind of open link or open kind of white paper or the documents where I can go on we can go and read about all these things like partner solution consulting openly, and or it's like for the internal employees only?
So, but the kind of roles that if you want to look at, I think one of the easiest places is LinkedIn. If you go, and if anybody is interested in looking at ServiceNow solution consulting roles, I think the easiest place is our own
LinkedIn only.
yeah, our
Okay.
own job portal or LinkedIn, you will see
Yes.
all these whatever I talked about, and even
Right.
more variants of that. That's
Correct.
for sure. I think those JDs also very clearly, like I would have simplified it when I talked about it, but those JDs will also tell you what else you can actually look for, right, in terms of our roles. A fairly good number of open roles are out there, again across different domains, right? If you're a
Correct.
developer, there are different kind of roles. If you're a solution consultant, there are different kinds of roles. But I would start with LinkedIn, or the job site that we have, the
Okay.
public job sites.
Yep. Okay. So now I'll change the track now. Again, coming to you as a couple. So who all are in your family now, and what you do in your day in day out, other than work, specifically on the Saturday Sunday. Not don't count this Saturday because you are busy with me for 1 hour. But generally, what you do
Yeah.
in the Saturday and Sunday.
A good question again. So right now I have my wife, my 6-year-old son. My mom used to stay with us here in Bangalore, but as of now she's actually in Kerala. But
Okay.
otherwise she also lives with us. So that's my family here. I have a brother, and my brother's family is based out of the US. So he lives in New Jersey.
Okay.
That's the two of us. Like I mentioned earlier, my dad passed away. uh, uh, this is our family, and from a hobby standpoint, I read tremendously. So almost I would say about 10 to 12 books a year.
My
That's
goodness.
how I read stuff. I do a little bit of writing. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll see I write blogs, especially
Yes.
sometimes at the end of the year. I kind of list the summaries of the books that I read as well. So writing is also on and off, if you look at it. Social media advocacy, definitely, like LinkedIn. I'm pretty,
Active.
yeah, active. That's the word. Yeah, I'm active on social media. I watch a lot of movies. Again, I have this habit of reviewing movies on Insta or on Facebook. So that's that writing, reading kind of a thing that's out
Wow.
there. Very fond of music, very fond of traveling. So that's pretty much what it is. So weekends, it'll be one of these, either watching movies, going out with the family on a drive, something of that sort.
Nice.
uh,
So I'm sure that traveling does not include that you're going to pick up a grocery, which take 2 hours for you
No,
in the
no.
traffic jam.
So no. So so one of the things that
Hmm.
we do is we drive down to Kerala from
Okay.
Bangalore, because my mom stays there, my wife's
They're right.
parents stay there, or whatever it is. So the driving, so long drives essentially means 10-12 hours of drive. That's what I
Yes.
meant. And then places like, if you look at Mysore, or if you look at Coorg, or if
Mm.
you look at
Yes.
Munnar, or things like that, that's essentially what I meant by driving. So
Right.
um,
Right. Right. And do you cook as well?
I try my hand.
Oh my
It
God.
is only so here's the thing. I will try something that is exotic, not necessarily the dal chawal kind of a thing, which I don't want to try. But yes, I
Okay.
I do experiment. It depends. It's actually it's a mood of the month kind of a thing. If you feel like
Mhm.
doing it, then you do it. Otherwise, you don't.
Okay.
But
Nice.
since you asked that question, so I have lived in the US for about 5 years,
Yep.
in different stints. What it does to you is it makes you automatically do these things, survival skills. It enhances that, right? So that's you pick up cooking, you pick up a lot of these skills that are out there. So,
Right.
and I like it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that right now, sometimes you don't have the time for it because there are too many things going on. So that's what it is.
Right. No, that is the reason I asked, because you say that you were in the US for a couple of years. So definitely it's not easy to hire someone who can come and
Yeah,
cook for
absolutely.
you, and you have to be learned as well. At point of
Yeah.
time, you have to be learned as well. Okay, I'll pick up one question which put by Ashish. Any specific book which you would like to be suggest to us to be read at least?
So Ashish, I had asked that question to you. Is there any specific area that you are looking at? So my reading is very eclectic, Ashish. I read different kind of books, primarily behavioral psychology. If you look at it, current book that I'm reading, I'll see if you guys are able to see this. Are you able to see this by any chance?
No, it's a due to background. It's can you read it
Now,
because it's little
yeah, okay. So it's called Multipliers. This is a book on leadership. It
okay.
talks about how leaders can multiply their the skills of their people, right? So that's what I'm reading right now. But like I said, very eclectic, behavioral science things that are written by Adam Grant, for example. On my next reading list actually is a book called Flow. So there is again a person called Mihaly. It's very difficult to spell the name. I'll put it in chat if you will. But Flow essentially is about. So sometimes you start working and then you are in a state of mind where you actually don't even know what's happening in the surrounding. This is a
Oh,
state of deep work. You actually become very deeply involved in your work. So there is a science behind it. It's called Flow. That's the book that I have. Cal Newport is an author that so he's written this book called Deep Work. So yeah, behavioral psychology. So Ashish, is there a specific area that you like? I have tons of books. I can give you recommendations. It's just that I need to know
right.
which area are you interested in.
Yep. Maybe, maybe.
If it's
Go ahead,
if
Kapil. Go
it's
ahead.
career, by the way, there are a few good books on career. One of them is called Catalyst by a person called Mauli, Chandra Mauli. He passed away, but that book is a classic. I think that's a great book. There is another book for people who are thinking of switching jobs and not sure what to do. It's called Pivot,
Mm,
Pivot.
okay.
Um, there are a whole lot of other good career related books that I can recommend. Let me know. I mean, reach out on LinkedIn or whatever it is. I can
Yes.
refer a whole bunch.
Yep, definitely, definitely. And one more thing, maybe just to be highlighted that Ashish is not in India or UK. He's in based out in US now, and it's early morning 2:30 for him. Yesterday he pinged me, Atul. I'm going to be set up an alarm because I want to be listen this conversation as a live. I said it's too early for you. No, no, it's a live participant has a different experience. So thank you, Ashish, for joining this session now. Okay,
And
you know.
I hope, Ashish, we are making it worthwhile for you that you're staying so late. I hope you don't curse us after you're done with it.
Yes. Okay. Now I would like to be because we just have a few more minutes to be close this session now. I saw that from the last approximately 1 year I'm following you on the LinkedIn and I saw that you put the ServiceNow knowledge nuggets. Okay. I want to be understand that what is the motto behind that? That why you start writing it even though I'm sure that you are on the position where you're busy more than 90% on our day timings, meetings, Excel sheet, PowerPoints, all the things you do. So what is the trigger point for that? Okay, let's me write something on the nuggets because when you write and you also prepare the cartoons for the same as well, it's required efforts, it's required a time, it's required a thinking as well. So I want to understand that reason behind that.
I think a very good question, but I'll probably have to expand and give you an answer. It's not just
Mhm.
just a bit of it, right? But I'll start with the crux of it. I am in service now. I am privy to a lot of knowledge and content that you might not necessarily have outside, right? You
Right.
guys you will still need to look at different places to go and this and that and however you look at it, right? I think the whole concept is what we call information asymmetry. What happens is me being where I am, I have access to information which you will not have. Now there are two ways to use this information, right? One, I can share and give it away, and make other people like you're impacting them, or I can
Right.
hold to it and think I'm very powerful. I don't think it really works that way, right? I think information is leveraging information asymmetry to think that you're powerful is a very, very foolish thing. I think a lot of people think that, if I keep this information, don't share it, and I use it only sparingly, it's a great thing. Honestly, I think that's the most stupidest thing anybody can do. I think information is there for everybody to access. That information democracy is something that's the main trigger, if you ask me, right? Now let us look at things that are valuable for me as an individual when I do it.
Hmm.
One, like we said, obviously impacting everybody. That's a positive part of it. Two, if I were to build a brand for myself on social media,
Hmm.
there are multiple ways I do it. Right. One, I can keep on posting. Like you will definitely have some kind of an advocacy tool, right? So
Right.
Sprinkler or something will say that, hey, post this, post this, post this. You keep doing that, what will essentially happen is everybody is posting the same content. Every single person is posting exactly the same content. You're just
Correct.
resharing and resharing and resharing. I don't think you build a personal brand. I don't think you get an identity by doing that.
Hmm.
You will get an identity when you share something of value to the consumer,
True.
right? So for me, when I started this way back, I just started with just posts or something like that. I also realized that being um, very specific, trying to put it in a certain way brings more attention. People start looking at it and all of that,
Right.
right? Then there's that whole aspect of branding it. So last year, if you guys noticed, I used to call this no now, and
Yes.
this year I started calling it not no now on a Thursday, because every Thursday is when I'm posting it. So
Right.
that not that entire thing is more of a personal branding exercise, right? But at the same time, I just don't want to do it only for my own personal brand. I think it has to have value to you, to the
True.
subscribers. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. The other aspect of it, you asked about, the videos and whatever it is. Again, this is, like I said, purely curiosity to see whether it works. It's so I referred to this book called Pivot sometime back in the chat, right? In the So Pivot, the person who's written that book is a ex Google person or something. They talk about trying to be experimental. You do small things as experiments and see if it works or not. So, the content I used to create earlier is probably just a post, right? But the moment you start making a animated video or something, one,
Right.
I think people start appreciating it more, because they're going to look at it for 10 seconds, 50 seconds, whatever that is.
Yes.
They're going to imbibe it faster. But I needed to find a mechanism to experiment whether this works. So,
Hmm.
which is why I did that. That experimentation phase is what you saw last year. I intend to do probably more of that. Other, again, people like you are very, you know, I'll say entrepreneur, right? You start your own podcast, you start doing some stuff like that.
True.
Do I have the time for it? Probably I don't. So these are experiments I'm doing, which will lead to something like that in the future. That's how I look at what it is
Hmm.
there. But fundamentally, I think I want to break information asymmetry. That I don't want to, people to think that, hey, there is information just not being shared. What's my role? My role is a technology evangelist. And for a technology evangelist, I think the core function is to make sure that you bring in information democracy, you bring in the ability
True.
for people to learn more. That's the reason behind what I do.
Okay. Nice. Thanks, Kapil, for bringing this information here. And I guess Ashish already put some comments on the YouTube. Yes, Ashish, this is what Kapil said, that Multipliers, Flow, and Pivot are the good books which you can read. And if you read this book, please come up with the book review so that I will invite you for the podcast to be discussed on these books as well. Okay. So now coming to almost on the last part of this session. So Kapil, I saw that you, being a host now from the ServiceNow perspective, you organize a lot of events, summits, World Forum, Knowledge. How was experience in these events? Any good experience and any bad experience where you think, yeah, oh my God, I should not arrange these things in the future?
I don't think I don't honestly think we've had bad experiences that way. I think the only sad part is a lot of times, not everybody can attend these events, right?
Events.
Some of them are there's a commercial aspect to it. So suppose you want to
Right.
travel, your company is not going to pay for it, you don't have the nominations, all that kind of thing happens. So that's probably the bad part, if you will, right? Again, that's not on an individual, that's not on, it's the business dynamics that decides
Correct.
who goes where, kind of a thing, right? But the events are fantastic. I think we really enjoy hosting people, we really like meeting people. What is most valuable for me when I meet people is, I think, to understand various kind of use cases. You will probably sometimes be very surprised with what somebody is doing with ServiceNow, right? Because we have not
Correct.
probably heard it out there.
Yes.
So for me, when we talk about events, I think it's that entire intellectual stimulation that you get, right? Somebody giving you a good idea.
True.
Networking as well happens automatically out there when you're actually meeting people and all of that, right? So I don't foresee, or I don't have even one incident where I felt no, those events didn't work out well or whatever it is. Uh, if nothing, at least we get to meet people, and our
People,
people
right.
get to meet us from service. No, I think so. That's definitely there. Knowledge. I've been to knowledge, I think, once. I've been to what we have got sales kickoffs and all of those kind of things. Then we
Right.
do India-based events called Summit. Last year we had something called a Global
It's
Partner Summit. Again,
yep.
a really good one. I think there are a lot of marketing events that happen. Some I
Right.
attend, some I'm part of where I host or do something.
Mhm.
But it's always been a good experience. I would never say, I like I said, the only sad part is probably people want to attend and they're unable to attend, right?
Right.
Like, and that's a commercial reasons.
No,
You know,
that's true.
yeah, we can't do much about that, but that's the
Right,
only
right, right.
bad part.
Okay. Yep. Because I saw that nowadays it's summit is going on in India. We have a summit in Delhi, then Mumbai as well. But I want to be request something from the people who are based out in India, that they want that ServiceNow should organize World Forum as well in India, because we have in London last year, then we have, I guess, in the US or somewhere as well. It's happened, but in India this biggest level never happens. So maybe you can take a thought on that part.
I
Put
think there is plan for it, Atul. Again,
wow,
like I said, last year also they were probably planning to do it. Probably didn't happen for whatever reason. Again, it's not me or my team that's directly
correct.
responsible. It's actually a marketing function that does all of this. Commercial
The
considerations come
biggest
into
thing.
play, and all of that comes into play. But I'm sure everybody's already, they're aware that there's a whole huge community of ServiceNow
Yes,
people here in India who, who wants access to things like this. So
correct.
watch the space. You'll probably see something
So
exciting there.
maybe something good is coming in 2024 or maybe 2025, as say Kapil. Let's hope for the good thing here. Okay, so Kapil, the last point, because we already on the 1 hour done. Any last thoughts? Any last guidance? Any last words from your perspective to the community?
So, like I said, I think we are an extremely innovative company. You guys all know that we bring two releases a year. The only thing that I would want you to imbibe essentially is that this is a motto that I have. Probably you guys will find value in it. It's called A.B.L.E. Reads
Right.
able. So always be learning and evolving, because the platform is constantly bringing in innovation. If you're only going to be doing one sort of thing on the platform, I don't think you're going to truly benefit the value. So unless you're constantly on top of whatever service now is releasing in terms of capabilities and the good stuff that's out there, you're probably restricting your own growth. So I'd keep learning about the platform, the products that we build on it, and basically have fun with the platform. I think that's what I'd say.
Right. And I guess we missed out one question which raised by Praveen, is that what type of partner support you offer via ServiceNow? And I prefer to be connect him to with you on the LinkedIn personally, so that you can guide him little bit more manner, or maybe you can
Yeah,
redirect it to
absolutely. I
him.
think that and it's a much bigger conversation. It'll depend
Yes.
on. We'll have to qualify what what is the partner. He's talking about a lot of other things. We can take that offline.
Yep. So if anybody has any kind of a personal discussion, specifically if the partner, don't say that Kapil, I'm looking for a job in service now. Can you can you help me? But if you need something from the partner building perspective, partner solutioning consulting perspective, that how you can improve your partnership with the service now, definitely Kapil is the right person. You can reach out to him on the LinkedIn as well. And one more thing, that he's easily reachable. I just ping him, and in the next half an hour I got a reply. Yes, Atul, we can discuss maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and I done with this part on that particular stuff. Okay, so I think there's a no open question as of now in the chat now. So Kapil, as a tradition, before we close, let's say thanks to the God, because as you say that you and me and everybody who is in the call is strong believer on the faith of the God as well. So let's pray to God 10 seconds. Thanks to God that He give us a power, strength to share our thoughts, knowledge with everybody, and then we can close this session formally on this particular part.
Sure. Thank you everyone for your time.
Okay, so once again, Kapil, thank you so much for giving time on to me on the Saturday afternoon, and people who join from the different regions of the world, specifically Ashish, I'm talking to you, or Victor, who is in the UK based out. Still, it's early morning Saturday, who joined with me on the live session. Thank you so much. I'm coming back again in the next week as well on the Women's Day special episode with the Kelly. She's from the. Everybody know that she's be having the 100 days of service now podcast on that particular part. So we'll connect again on the same time. Flyers and the discussion and the links will be out very soon on that particular part. And once again, everybody, thank you so much for giving me time. Couple special thanks to you. Being a busy person on the Saturday morning as well, you pick up me for these timings and share the knowledge with us. Definitely come back to you again in some other day when you will be host and maybe I'm a guest now.
That's a good one. Thank you so much, Atul.
Thanks
Yeah, take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Yep.
bye.
Bye bye.